All right, guys. Let's see. Guys, remind me how we would do this problem here.
Make it 2.
Good. 3 and 3. X and X. Minus plus. And we put an X and an X because I had to. Not that I had to, not that I was told to, but I had to, right? And I put 3 and 3 because I had 2 3s. You with me? Now, of course, you're all like, okay, Jeff, get over it. But I'm trying to build us up to cubes. If I have a difference or sum of cubes, how many of each thing I'm going to have? 3. So it's going to be the same kind of idea. There's this one little thing that makes it all a little bit worse, but see if you guys can go with it. People do not like cubes because you have to kind of memorize the pattern a little bit. With squares, you can actually work it. You can break everything in half and then put plus or minus. So you're actually kind of doing something with it. With cubes, let's start with this guy.
Would you just write it out 3 times?
Yeah, so x cubed is made up of what? X times X times X, right?
Yes.
And what's 27?
3 times 3.
So you kind of see how, I think in the homework they ask you to list some cubes. Like 1 cubed is 1, 2 cubed is 8, 3 cubed is 27. You have to be able to identify that number. 64 is what? Break it up into 3 parts. I know it's 8 times 8, that's great. But what's 64 as 3 numbers? 4, 4, 4. 125 is 5 times 5 times 5. Those kind of things you have to start to notice and put in your memory. And that's how you break them up. Yeah?
I have a question on the problems on the practice test. On 1C, it says 2 cubed to the 3rd, cubed to the 3rd power.
Okay.
That's when it's okay to distribute it. Can I distribute it onto the 2?
You have to.
Okay.
But let's focus on this now.
Sorry.
So it starts off, let me just tell you directly. Let me see if you guys can go with me. Trust me for a minute. Make this second dude a little bigger. So we have a little dude and a big dude. All right. So whenever you have a cube, you want to make a little dude and a big dude. You'll see why we need the big dude in a second. The little dude is a little dude. He can only take 1 of each. So x cubed is x times x. Let me put 1x here and 1 3 there. And I'll put the same sign, the minus. So how many x's do I have to put there?
2.
Of course. And how many 3's do I have to put here? 3 times 3? 9. Now, go with me for a second. Now watch how, so far it's great. I got to explain why the hell we need something here. But look what's really nice about it. I had 2 of each here, so put 1, 1, 1, 1, bam. 3 of each. 1, 2, 1, 2. Not quite bam yet. And here's why we're not quite bam yet. Here's my x cubed. Yay. Here's my minus 27. Yay. Here's minus 3x squared. Do I want that? Shit. And here's plus 9x. Do I want that? So what I have so far cannot be the answer, because when I multiply it, I don't get this. I get that, right? This extra crap in the middle. So let me make sure you guys are with me. If it's a cubes, I have 3 of everything. 1 of each in the little dude, 2 of each in the big dude, and the middle guy is the cleanup guy. He kills these guys. And it's on now. Again, it takes me a while to explain this on the first go around, but we'll do a couple more. This guy is always. How do you think if this is a minus, he's got to be plus because he's a cancellation dude, right? Duh, Jeff. All right, cool. So it's got to be a plus. And what works is always whatever the hell's there times whatever the hell's there. Always. Always. So 3 times x, 3x. So look what I get now. Did I have all this shit I didn't want? But what's 3 times the new guy? What's negative 3 times 3x? Negative 9x. Sweet. Doing his job right, cleaning up the mess. And what's x times the new dude? X times 3x? Positive 3x squared. Cleaning up. What am I left with? exactly what I
That's
wanted,
because
right?
you multiplied.
And if you remember, on the quiz I had the little dude times the big dude, I had exactly this, I think, or maybe it was a plus, I can't remember. And remember all the stuff that canceled? That's what we just saw happen here, right? Let's do another one. This is all about getting the idea and the form in your head. Let me see if we can take the next step up. Now I can do a sum of cubes, and I know this is where we're all going to be like, what? But the reason that cubes are always more relaxed. Because when I multiply a negative times a negative times a negative, what do I get at the end? A negative. And what's a positive times a positive times a positive? Positive. But when I square something, it always comes out positive. So that's why squares are always more uptight. They're like, I can only work one way. So that's why it only works with the difference of squares. But cubes are always more relaxed. They're like, dude, I don't care. I can work either way. A minus or plus, I don't care. So here I attack it the same way. What's y cubed? Y. 8m cubed? 2m, 2m, 2m. Cool? How are we doing so far?
Sorry.
So then you put down little dude, big dude. Yeah, you put one of each in the little dude because he's a little dude. Y plus 2m. So one of each, right? If there were 3 y's and there were 3 2m's there, I put 1 y, 1 2m. It's a plus, so I put a plus. How many y's have to go here then? Y squared, I like it. And what goes at the end here? What's 2m times 2m? 4m squared. So you can check yourself so far. Y cubed, awesome. 2 times 4 is 8. M squared is m cubed, 8m cubed, awesome. And the last thing I need, what's the sign going to be in the middle?
Negative.
Good, the opposite of that. And what's the actual term going to be? 2my. This is always a plus, by the way. So notice, there's always only one negative in the whole thing. It's either there or it's there. No. If this would have been minus, this would have been a minus, and this would have been a plus. Right? You see that? So try not to look at it as so much to memorize. Try to look at it as there's no other way to do this. There's just 2 ways for the signs to work out, a minus and a plus or a plus and a minus. There's not a million different ways for this to work. So you guys try this one. Oh. Now we just talked about 64 earlier, right? 4. 64 is kind of a neat number. It's a square and a cube. Of course, a math geek would be interested in that, but that still should be semi-interesting. By the way, I haven't said this yet, the big guy can never, ever be factored. Unless there's some GCF you left in there you didn't see. The big guy can never be factored. Don't waste time trying to make it work. So what do you put in the little dude there? Yeah, one of these 3 W's minus 4. Now, real quick, I want to say this. Let me see if you guys understand. if this is the 3's and the W's and this is the 4's, they still have the 3's and W's and the 4's have to still be together, right? I can't have this go over there and make a 12 somehow. They can't float around. These are 3's and W's. They have to be together. This is a 4. It has to be by itself here. Do you kind of get what I'm saying? I always get people mix and match those things. What has to be here then? 9.
W squared.
W squared. So I end up with my 27W cubed, right? You can see it happening. And what goes at the end?
Plus 4.
Plus
16.
16. The other two 4's. And there's 4 times 16. There's your negative 64, right? Middle term is going to have what sign?
Positive.
Plus
3W minus
12W.
Okay.
It's always a product of those. That's the only time they get to mix together is in the middle dude. They have to work together to cancel the crap out.
Why do you do that?
The short answer is because it's what works. And the proof of it is interesting, but to make for an interesting story, I could actually have just sat here and tried it until something worked and then realized what's always working is these two multiply together. Right? That's what seems to always make it work. Okay? We're good so far?
Yeah, we're done. Another one?
I didn't say are we done. Yeah, one more.
Okay.
Let me give you one. See if you guys can do this here. So the question you ask yourself, now what could two terms be? It could be squares or cubes. How do you know which one it is? Can it be everything be cut in half? Or can everything be cut in thirds? So 64 can be 8 and 8. But the 9 can't be cut in half. But it can be cut in thirds. That's how you figure out which one it is.
You go x3, x3, x3.
Yeah, so what goes together here? 64, yeah, 4x3.
Oh, 4x.
4x3.
Oh.
4x3. You with me? Because that together would make 64x9.
Yeah.
And the 1 is kind of funny.
I don't.
1 is what? What times what times what? 1. 1 is how many ones you want it to be. So 1 is a square, it's a cube, is a 4th power, it's a 5th power. Whatever the hell you need. You guys are so spoiled. I think this is the latest I ever kept you. Except for tests. Then you guys keep me longer. What's up with that? So what goes in a little dude?
4x cubed.
So one of those.
Plus 1.
Good. Plus one of those. So the other two of these go here.
16.
16x 6. So you can kind of check yourself. There's your 64. There's your 3 and 6 is 9. So far it looks good. 1 times 1. 1.
Oh, it's not 2.
What sign does the middle dude have to have? Minus.
4x cubed.
4x cubed times 1 is 4x cubed.
But if the product, okay. You're doing the product of the first
1 times 4x cubed.
Oh, it's
4x
times,
cubed.
you're not adding it?
Nope.
Oh.
Nope.
Why is there not plus 2 of them?
Yeah, I thought that too.
Because it's 1 times 1.
Can you do one more?
Alright, so for those of you who want it, here's one more.
Sorry.
That's alright, no. I mean,
Just wanna make sure I get this.
I will never walk away if somebody's like, oh, some more math, please. I'm not gonna. No, it's not. It's like I don't hear that enough, so. All right, let's see. Oh, let me make it. Wait, sorry. Okay. All right. So can everything be cut in half or thirds? Is 24 a perfect cube? Is there a number that I multiply by itself 3 times and get 24? No. And 81 is the same. 81 is 9 times 9, but it ain't nothing times itself 3 times. So what saves our ass here is the thing I always told you try first.
Greatest common
Yeah. What comes out of 24 and 81?
9. Right, no.
3?
3. So what are you left with?
8 to the 15.
Now what are you left with here? Is this, can you cut everything in thirds? 8 is what? 2, 2, 2. T15 is, cut it in thirds, 5, 5, 5, T5, T. So this will be 2T5, 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 right?
That sounds funny.
And 27 is, and W6 is, cut it in thirds. I like this, so 3W squared, 3W squared, 3W squared. You see that? If you identify it as a cubes, you cut them all in threes. If you identify it as a squares, you cut them all in half. How do you tell which one? Well, does a 2 go in or does a 3 go in? Right? It's almost too easy. At the same time, it's complicated, I understand. I'm going to make a mistake on purpose and see if you guys pick it up. So what goes here?
2 to the 5th.
Good, so one of these.
Plus.
No, mine.
Oh, 'cause you're not going off the original one?
Well, they're both mine.
Oh.
3W.
What I wrote down.
3W.
So far so good? Sort of? What goes here?
4T.
4T10, so you see your 15 T's and you see your 8. So far so good, right?
Mhm.
At the end goes
9W.
9W4, so you see your 27, you see your 6 W's. And the middle dude is plus 6 T5W squared, just to put it in alphabetical. I have done something wrong. It's a very tiny thing.
Oh.
I like it. The 3 is supposed to come for the ride.
Yeah.
I can never get all the way back up to here if I forget him. So he's done, but he's got to come for the ride, however long that ride is. He's better still be there all the way down, right? So be real careful. If something comes out, it's got to just come for the ride. All right. So next time I'll have the
Do you ever put them back in the ride?
answer key. Put it back in the car. Just like hold it on to the window. Test is Monday. So Wednesday is review day.
That's next class.
Oh, cool. Do you have a... Then you'd be left with what's left in the body of the squares. Here though, here's something. If I multiply this in, I get my 20x squared, I get my 25x. Where's he? What should be in? Exactly. You divide out 5 and see it. And then the inside you can still work. It'll be 3 terms. You still can possibly factor.
I did get
See?
my question quiz.
Oh.
But my mind, because I would have come to
Sure.
at least a partial mathematics if I have
What?
problems figuring out
How did I feel on this one? I didn't think.
That's good. Still not quite there. This one is the same as this one.
Oh, it is?
Just what can come out? Do a GCF. Take a number and a letter, yeah.
15x?
Exactly.
Oh,
and then
okay.
write what's left, yeah.
Oh,
this is so far so good. Except one little thing, you can't just change the sign. If you need the sign to change, you take out a negative. So it should be a minus 25. And then you have one more step, don't you? You could take the x minus 5 out. One more step. This one is so far so good, except again, if you need to change the sign, take a negative. So it should be a minus 3t.
Okay.
But do you see how those both have a t in?
Yeah.
So you can do one more step, take a t out. So you're on the right track. Yeah.
Hey, Waller.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm okay.
Have a good weekend?
Actually, no, but it's okay. These things happen. Thursday and Friday was